Good evening. I'd like to call the Warwick County School Corporation Board of School Trustees meeting to order. It's July 10th, 2023. Would you please stand and join me in a moment of silence, followed by the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 3 on the agenda is patrons' concern, and seeing none, we will move on to item 4, which is consideration of routine business. Mr. Armstrong.
The items under routine business are the minutes of the school board meeting held on June 26, 2023, and approving the claims and signing the docket for July 10, 2023. I recommend the board approve the routine items as presented.
We have a motion by Mr. Baker and a second by Mr. Franz. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Item 5, consideration of items for board action. Mr. Armstrong.
The first item is to consider adopting the 2024-2025 school calendar. And in your board packet, you're going to find a copy of the proposed school calendar for the 2024-2025 academic year. The calendar has been created and reviewed by the administration, the WCTA, and principals. The first day of school for the students is August 7th, 2024, and the last day is May 22nd, 2025. I recommend the board approve the 2024-2025 school calendar as presented.
I'll make that motion. I'll second.
I have a motion by Mrs. Glover and a second by Mrs. Metzger. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. 5B, second reading of proposed policy 5701, therapy dogs. Mr. Armstrong.
In your board packet, you will find a copy of policy 5701, therapy dogs, submitted by Dr. Walter Lambert. This policy shall apply to therapy dogs on school corporation property. The superintendent or designee shall have the discretion to establish administrative regulations consistent with this policy. Tonight is the second reading of this policy for the Board of Trustees. And I have a summary here. The Board of School Trustees recognizes that there are certain occasions when therapy dogs may be present on Warwick County School Corporation property. A therapy dog is a dog that has been individually trained and certified to work with its handler to provide emotional support, well-being, comfort, and/or companionship to school corporation students and employees. A handler is the person who trained with the therapy dog and is solely responsible for this supervision. Proposed policy 5701 further outlines the approval process, the training requirements, student allergy considerations, and steps for removal if necessary. I recommend the board approve the policy as presented.
We have a motion by Mr. Franz.
I'll second.
Second by Mrs. Glover. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Item 5C, consider temporary and perpetual water line easement. Mr. Armstrong.
The water line easement that is in the packet is a revised water line easement. This easement was signed last year. There was an issue with the city being able to make payment for the easement, and it needed to be broken down into two different numbers. During that revision, there was also some discussion about some language that was in the original easement pertaining to the waiving of the water tap fees at WPCC. That particular item is still under discussion, so it's been removed from this easement. To determine whether or not those tap fees are going to be waived or not is going to happen at a later date. So it's been removed from this particular easement. So we're recommending this easement replace the one that was signed previously so that payment can be made. So I recommend the board approve the request as presented.
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Baker,
Second.
second by Mr. Eigner. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. 5D, consider accepting a donation to Chandler Elementary School. Mr. Armstrong.
In your board packet, you will find a donation request from Chandler Elementary School Principal, Mrs. Stephanie Henrich. Regal Incorporated is donating a basketball court for the outside area. This includes all materials and labor with an estimated value of $5,000. I recommend the board approve this request as presented.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. Mosby. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mrs. Metzger. Is there any discussion? No, I'm glad to see them donating their time and efforts to do that. That's going to be a great improvement for Chandler Elementary. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Item 6, consider of personnel recommendations. Dr. Gresham.
Thank you, Mrs. Wilhelmus. Human Resource Office has the following business to bring before the board tonight. Consideration of employment certified staff positions. Allison Washburn, a half-time special education teacher and half-time first grade teacher at Tennyson Elementary School. Corey Knable, business, computer science, and information technology teacher at Tecumseh High School. Alyssa Miller, biology teacher at Castle High School. Stephen Bush, business teacher at Boonville High School. And the following support staff positions: Brittany Dennis, program assistant at Logue Elementary. Jenny Toops, bus driver for Route 85. Brett Staub, bus driver for Route 91. Delaney Davis, bus driver for Route 206. Tina Finn, bus driver for Route 207. Calvin Brent Stevens, bus driver for Route 217. Holly Stevens, bus driver for Route 237. Queenie Young Cotton, program assistant at Castle High School. Dennis Sutton, program assistant at Castle High School. Christina Gresham, bus driver for Route 238. And Megan Barnhill, program assistant at Oakdale Elementary.
Thank you. Do we have a motion?
I move to approve.
Motion by Mrs. Glover,
I'll second.
second by Mrs. Metzger. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Agenda item B, consider naming varsity baseball coach at Tecumseh High School. I know Dr. Browder and Athletic Director Brown are excited to bring the name Eric Barnes for that position.
Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Baker, second by Mr. Franz. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Agenda item C, leave requests. Sheila Goodrid, a PTA Assistive Technology Coordinator, and Robert Dave Hearing, Class B Maintenance.
I move to approve.
We have a motion by Mrs. Glover,
Second.
second by Mr. Eigner. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Agenda item D, cafeteria transfers. Kim Edson, 4.5 hours at Castle High to 6.5 hours at Castle High. Haley Dowling, 3.25 hours at John H. Castle to 6.5 hours at John H. Castle. Agenda item E, bus driver transfers. Tammy Ireland from Route 99 to Route 7. Rhonda Sander from Route 89 to Route 38. Angel Smith from Route 222 to Route 239. And agenda item F, resignations. Carl Amos, bus driver for Route 232, resignation effective June 27th, 2023. Kathy Johnson, 6.5-hour cafeteria at John H. Castle, resignation effective June 26, 2023. Tamara Thurman, program assistant at Castle South, resignation effective June 30, 2023. Tamara Murphy, program assistant at Sharon Elementary, resignation effective June 30, 2023. Krista Lutz, ABS program assistant at Chandler Elementary, resignation effective July 5th, 2023. Mike Powless, program assistant at Castle North, resignation effective July 6th, 2023. And Joshua Bolds, social studies teacher and girls varsity basketball coach at Tecumseh High School, resignation effective July 10th, 2023.
Thank you, Dr. Gresham. Item 7, reports. Mr. Armstrong.
I believe Dr. Lambert has a report to start the night.
Yes, I have a report from the Policy and Curriculum Committee. First of all, thank you for the second reading on the therapy dogs. I know we have a lot of people that will be happy to see that that is in place for the new year. Upcoming, the next board meeting, you'll get a first reading on the teacher appreciation grant policy. If you recall on that, the tag monies, we get that money every year from the state. And then we have to give it to teachers who are highly effective or effective on their evaluation. And this is for the previous school year, and they have to be employed on December 1 of 2023. So we'll get that, we gotta do this every year, so we'll get that policy at your next board meeting. Nothing's changed other than some dates in that item, so it's pretty short, sweet, and simple, but it is something we have to redo every year. The committee discussed tonight as well, the school lunch policy, the lunch charging policy that we discussed at the work session as well. So the committee's gonna look into what needs to be done in that area. In the interim, the suggestion is that we follow the policy as is until we make any changes, and then to get some more data and information from the food services department in order to make some decisions on what we need to do moving forward when it comes to the charging for a lunch. And lastly, the committee did spend some time discussing policy 1100, which is academic freedom, and then also the new Indiana laws that were going into effect after this last legislative session when it comes to the book challenges or the book reviews. So we're going to work on that policy to get that together, and then have that as a separate policy itself, and then move that forward again through the process as well. Unfortunately, the DOE doesn't have much guidance out on that right now, but we're going to work with our attorney to make certain we get that. I'll let him determine what the law is really saying, so then that's all we have.
Thank you, Dr. Lambert.
Thank you for enlightening us. The second report is going to come from me, and I just want to give a brief synopsis of what's going on with WPCC. As you guys know, we've got a lot of construction projects going on right now, but that one in particular is at the forefront of my thoughts because it's going to be opening in less than 20 work days, and we've probably got 50 days of work. But with that being said, there's no real holdups in place other than things that are beyond our control, shipping dates, things like that that putting some hindrance and causing us to recalculate when things have to be done and the timing, et cetera. The one issue that is of great concern is the permanent power. The permanent power requires CenterPoint to be on site, and we had a little bit of a snafu with the notarizing of our easement, and so that delayed it a few days. They are in the process of getting it recorded, getting it placed into the CenterPoint queue. We're hoping to have some guys out there. My hope is the end of this week, but as soon as possible. Once that's done, a lot of other things that are out there can take place. We've got HVAC units, we have 3 of them installed. We have 2 of them coming next Monday, and then the 2 largest units don't have a drop date set yet for sure. But in the meantime, we've been meeting with the contractor and coming up with some plan Bs and Cs, but while we're also doing that, we're making our own plans. Brian, the manager of maintenance, today found numerous temporary air conditioning units that are in stock that we could acquire if we needed to, if other things got in the way. We could cool the building and make sure that it would be open for school. The other things that are out there, I mean, we had $500,000 worth of equipment delivered today. Of course, without the roads being paved, forklifts don't drive up the sidewalk very well. So fortunately, our contractor shared some of their equipment and unloaded the equipment for us. Really neat stuff. All the guys in the maintenance department that were helping are saying they want to come back and learn, so that's a good sign, real good sign. I say this with somewhat confidence. We will be open on the first day. We will have a clean, safe building. We probably won't have everything finished. With that being said, but we'll be able to be inside the building.
We'll be close.
Yeah. They'll just,
So you do think occupied, but we're kind of doing touch-up items and
yes,
small things?
we're gonna designate the architect to punch it out on August 5th, even though the building won't be completely finished. For example, there's things that happen. Saturday, they painted all the ductwork in the clean lab, so that we could store the equipment in the clean lab.
Yeah.
And the paint didn't adhere to the ductwork.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're having to scrape it, paint it
Yeah.
again. There was oil residue on the ductwork, things like that,
Yeah.
again. But it's not gonna prevent us from having classrooms ready and students being able to be in the building. I mean, we've got all the community furniture being delivered Thursday. We've already got all the teachers' desks, student chairs, all the classroom supplies and everything, all happening right now. So we may be on August 7th cleaning the building at 10 o'clock at night, but we've been there before, so.
I could push a broom.
Work session, have a work session there? Yeah.
An all-night work session. Get it ready.
Todd, I've got a question unrelated, and I forget to ask it in our construction committee, but I know we've got the Boonville High School cafeteria project going. There's an abundance of concrete in that parking lot. Are they just waiting to haul that off, or is there a reason? I'm just curious.
Well, it came out of the floor.
Yeah,
They're not waiting. At one time, they thought maybe they were gonna need to use it as fill
okay.
inside of the steam, the area where that old steam pipe lane used to be.
I remember that. I felt like it was kind of hanging around for a while, so I didn't know if there was something coming up for use of that or something.
I had the architect, Mr. Link, draw them a better solution last Friday.
Okay,
So I don't think that'll be there too much longer.
okay. I was just curious. No problem.
All right, well, July 17th, we have a work session scheduled at 5:30 here for a legislative, the main topic is the legislative update, but that will be posted with more information. So that is next Monday night here at 5:30. And then August 14th, we'll have another personnel meeting at 6:30 in this building. Let me back up. Tomorrow morning, we have the construction WPCC meeting at 7:30, and then we'll have another one, I'm assuming August 15th at 7:30 at the administrative office. That's all I have.
Policy and Curriculum Committee will next meet on August 14th, 5:30, here at Central Services.
Any other questions or items for discussion? Okay. Well, thank you very much for attending. Meeting adjourned.